Ready? Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Planning Committee meeting on the 5th of March. And before I start the meeting, there is no fire alarm planned for this evening. So should the alarm sound, please leave via the nearest available emergency exit. Two of the closest exits are through the glass door behind you to my left and through the double doors to the riverside behind you. Please muster at Café des Amis, and do be aware that the gate to the access gate at the side here is locked at sundown, so is now locked. You will need to go exit from the left side. Members of the public are welcome to make their own recordings of the meeting using whatever non-disruptive method they think are suitable. This meeting is being minuted, recorded and audio streamed via the Council's website. As the voting system in the Guildhall is currently not working, recorded votes will be held by roll call. Please remember to turn your mic on when responding to your vote. Westgate Garden gates, as I mentioned, by the riverside are locked at sunset, and members of the public must leave the Guildhall by the side exit behind the glass door. Lauren, apologies?
We've got apologies from Councillor Pat Edwards and Councillor Paul Prentice, Chair.
And substitutes?
We have got Councillor Chris Cornell for Councillor Pat Edwards and Councillor Naomi Smith for Councillor Paul Prentice.
Okay. Could I have any declarations of interest by councillors or officers?
We have none in advance, Chair. All or some councillors may have received correspondence from or spoken with applicants, agents, supporters or objectors, and some of the public speakers may also be known to members of the committee due to their work as councillors. Neither circumstance prevents councillors from participating in the meeting. However, any councillor who considers that they do not have an open mind in respect of any item on the agenda should not participate in the meeting when the relevant item is to be discussed.
So can I just open that to the floor to see if there are any other declarations to be made? Take that as a no. Okay. Public participation. I confirm that there are no public speakers tonight. So those would be heard who would be heard immediately after the officer's presentation. So we should have a relatively quick meeting, touch wood. The minutes now of the meetings held on the 9th of January and the 6th of February. Can I please confirm that those are a true record by general assent? Everyone? Yep. I think that's carried. Then we can move on to item number 6, which is application number CA 23-02378 FUL, the land between Alora and Miltor, Marble Road, Whitstable. And if I could ask Christian to the planning officer to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members. So this application relates to a two-storey detached dwelling and garage located between the dwellings Alora and Miltor along Marble Road in Whitstable. So the scheme represents a departure from our local plan, given the site's location just outside of the Whitstable urban area. However, the principle and location were previously considered to be acceptable at appeal, with the inspector allowing the proposal. So this application is an amendment to that scheme, with the dwellings being set further back into their plot, and the red outline, as shown here, represents the footprint of the previously approved dwelling compared to the proposed. So the dwelling now incorporates a more contemporary design. So here we have the front and side elevations. And here are the rear and remaining side elevation. And here we have some site photos. So the street scene is characterised by a mixture of medium-sized detached and semi-detached houses. And the inspector had considered that, given this character, the addition of a dwelling more modern in design would be acceptable. On that basis, the recommendation is to approve, subject to safeguarding conditions and the completion of a legal agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. And could I now ask that I now ask for a seconder, and I will propose the officer's recommendation from the chair.
That's seconded, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Mackenzie, I believe. Sorry, can I now open this up for discussion? And obviously this can now be debated from the officer's report. As long as you have an open mind on the application, and we'll reach an opinion on the acceptability of this amendment of a planning application once the debate is concluded. Thank you. Councillor Bothwell.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I would welcome certain aspects of this development. The design seems to be reasonable, reasonably good. And I particularly welcome the passive solar design approach with high levels of insulation, thermally broken windows, air tightness, etc. And a solar panel array on the roof. I'm a bit concerned that no particular actual standards have been put forward. I know it's not the position of the planning committee to consider those items, but I would recommend to the applicant that they consider putting particular numbers on their ambitions rather than just these kind of rather vague qualities of the passive solar design. So I would prefer, if they adopted a passive house standard, that would be effectively zero carbon. And as we all know, we are in dire straits. So that is where we should all be going. And I would say it's actually neglectful of any developer not to build to zero carbon standards at this time. I'm concerned that they've suggested in the design and access statement that they can either use a air source heat pump for heating or a gas boiler. They haven't come down one side or the other, but I would obviously recommend a air source heat pump. And the last item is that they refer to surplus surface water going into the main sewer. I'm not sure if that's a combined sewer or a stormwater only sewer, but if it's a combined sewer, I would again recommend that the surface water is discharged on site through soakaways or other methods rather than going to a combined sewer, if that's what they're suggesting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Bothwell. As I understand matters from the planning officer, that would be dealt with under building regulations with the surface water. So hopefully that will be where that will be found. On the recommendations, I know it's not in the planning, but is that something that could be noted for the developer to see if they would be interested in advancing, as mentioned by Councillor Bothwell, the addition of the air source heat pump, I believe it was, and instead of the gas boiler, as both are mentioned in the report.
Obviously the recording will be available to listen to. It's not a policy requirement that we can impose on them. However, they are showing on the plans solar panels, so that's part of the approval. So that's on the approved plans, and that would be approved to be installed on the roof. But in terms of the boilers, that's not something that we can control through the planning system, but again would need to pass building regulation standards in any event. Thank you, Chair.
I'm afraid not, please. I'm sorry. Thank you. wish to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Looking at the overall design and how it's going to sit within the street scene, for me, I think it fits in really well. Good report, obviously, from the officer, and I would support the officer's recommendation for this application.
Thank you. Councillor Cornell.
Yes, I broadly agree with other councillors with reference to the design. We're talking about adding a safeguard in relation to cycle parking. I wonder if the developers indicated where they would on the plot locate that, given essentially, obviously the new development moves the whole plot further away back from the frontage. Have they indicated essentially if they put it to the front or the back of a property? It's not on the...
Christian, are you able to answer that?
Thank you, Chair. The condition 3 requires details of the cycle parking to be provided to us before the development commences, so those details will need to be submitted to us and approved by us. But there is sufficient space within the plot to accommodate that, so it's purely the details coming forward for us to approve.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of space on site. I think it's just, I think I personally prefer to see it located towards the rear of the property, given essentially that the residents' comments have been that it's being removed from the front. There's quite a lot of nice natural curtilage essentially on the front. I wouldn't want to see a shed massively stuck in the corner on the frontage, but obviously we'll leave that up for officers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Can I therefore propose that we go to a vote on this one? Thank you.
Councillor Bothwell,
Approve.
4. Councillor Bachmann,
4.
Councillor Carr-Ellis,
4.
Councillor Cornell,
Or
Councillor Franklin,
4.
Councillor Jones,
4.
Councillor Mackenzie. It's all right. Councillor Mellish. Councillor Old.
4.
Councillor Smith. 4. Councillor Naomi Smith, sorry. 4. Councillor Ian Stockley.
4.
And Councillor Thomas.
Yeah, 4, please.
That's carried unanimously, Chair, with 13 votes.
Thank you. On to the planning appeals report, item 7. There are no planning appeals to report this month. Item 8, any other urgent business to be dealt with in public, and there is none that I've been advised. Anything? No. Item 9, any other business which falls under the exempt provisions, and I have none advised on that. Likewise? Nope. So I'm pleased to advise everyone that the date for the next meeting is Tuesday the 2nd of April. Thank you all for coming, and I touched wood. Thank you.